Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how to become a magnetic goddess in just 3 months or less. This is the time that you're going to be going all in on you. Screw the new year goals, we're doing it this winter time. By next year, you're going to be a completely different person when you start doing this work on yourself, because everything comes from within and everyone always looks without. And everything that truly needs to change only needs to change within your actual body. And the first thing, I'm going to go over quite a few things here. So we're going to take this video slow, which brings us into the first point here, which is actually to take time to slow down and do nothing. So we're going to start with the slowing down part, right? And this is when you start to slow down, this is where you're going to be able to sit back and relax and sit in your receiving energy. When we're rushing throughout life, it's rushing in a lack frequency. You're not trusting the process. You're not trusting how your manifestation or your entire life as a whole is going to play out. You're trying to take control. And when you're trying to force things, obviously it's going to push them further away. It's coming from a lack frequency and a lack mindset. And something that I've been guilty of, that I've now recently discovered, is that I've always been trying to rush things because I want to achieve my goals fast. And although there's no actual long-term rush, like I'm not trying to get somewhere by a certain age, I've always felt like if I can just do it faster and get it over with and get it done, not really get it over with, shall I say, but more get it done, then I'll achieve the end goal faster. So I've always had this impatience about me. And when I started doing this inner work earlier on this year, because this is when I've had the biggest shift in my entire reality, is when I actually started to listen to my dreams, and my dreams kept showing me being impatient or waiting for someone. And in the dream, I always felt like it was them that was preventing me from moving forwards. But when I started to take control and sort of watch the dreams more, I realized that obviously it was always me, the one being impatient, and that person was just like either another version of me or there to show me that I'm waiting on someone else throughout my whole entire life. And this is highly related to basically I've always had ADHD. I'm always trying to do things faster, but we're not going to go into that. And the second I've decided to slow down with things and be more mindful of things, I make less mistakes. You'll make less mistakes. You'll be able to listen to your body more, be in tune with your intuition, be in tune with your feminine energy. You'll be able to listen to your higher self guiding you throughout the situation rather than trying to control the situation in sort of a masculine way, which is always our headspace. And we want to be taking ourselves out of our headspace and into our heart space. So slowing down is actually going to really help that. And one way to actually slow down is the second point here, is doing nothing. Actually doing nothing. Oh my gosh, you guys, I have started to do nothing and I recommend it to everyone. I naturally sort of started to use social media less recently when I started the self-development journey, but not on purpose, more so just because I'd prefer to do the self-development and the manifestation more so than social media. So YouTube is kind of my social media. But going back to slowing down, I've been watching slower videos. So if you guys are watching this video today, this is my almost announcement that I'm going to be making slower videos, because I don't want you guys to fall in the trap of watching 10-minute videos or even 5-minute videos to try and get a quick answer to a question that is a lot more deeper. You're not going to get the answer to a deep question through a 5-10 minute video unless you're watching a literal instruction video on how to do something from A to Z, like software or like building something. But when it's to do with the inner work and when it's to do with manifestation, the answers are usually a lot deeper. And again, it's why I hate TikTok now. I hate going on Instagram. I won't say hate, obviously, it's probably a more strong word, but I find it keeps you in your headspace so much more. You don't actually give yourself time to digest the information. You don't give yourself time to actually think, is this person correct? And you'll find yourself scrolling, obviously on the doom scroll, through people's profiles and into videos that aren't relevant anymore. And it keeps us in our headspace and we completely disconnect from our heart space. And so obviously social media has been something that I haven't been doing for a while, but actually doing nothing and spending time, and I don't just mean staring at a wall, okay, because I tried to get Aaron into doing nothing and he was like, what am I supposed to do? Just stare at a wall? And I don't mean that. I mean stuff without a screen more than anything. Meditating, trying to actually slow down your body, slow down your nervous system. Again, getting in tune with the heart space, the energy, your intuition, going for walks in nature instead of just clicking on TikTok and Instagram and going for a scroll. And you'll often find that the only reason we actually go on these platforms is to distract ourselves from something, usually relating to ourselves. So if you find an area of your life that you're not happy and you're not fulfilled in, or you've got these feelings of incapability or unworthiness, you'll find that you only go to social media to distract yourself from actually looking within, which is the biggest sign that you need to do the inner work when your your mind rather, is trying to protect you, to stop you from realizing where you're lacking. And therefore it's hiding your shadows for you and you don't even realize it. And so when you start to slow down and meditate, you start to actually listen to your body and begin to accept yourself a lot more. You step into your actual natural energy that tells you, your internal guidance system that's telling you where you want to go in life, telling you the answer to all your problems. Instead of going to Google to look up the answer to something, or even to YouTube for the answer of something, your body knows all of the answers. And when you slow down and start to do nothing, you literally will begin to notice that your body has all the answers inside of you, and you'll be able to start listening to your true desires so that you don't have to go out and get another job that isn't aligned with your soul's purpose ever again. You will no longer need to go out and look for ways to earn money because your body will tell you how to do that. Your body will tell you how to do that, and you will naturally start doing things that are more in tune with your natural capabilities and your natural intellect, your natural wisdom, and your highest personality when you start slowing down and doing nothing anyways, because your brain, your heart rather, shall I say, will be guiding you to do those things rather than letting your brain decide what those things are for you, like what you should be doing. So your brain, when you're being all active and then you're on social media, you'll see people doing things and you think, oh, I should do that, and then you feel guilty because you're not doing that, or you're not being productive, or you're not, you haven't got your manifestation yet. And then it further keeps you in your headspace and further away from your desires, further away from your higher self. Whereas obviously when you're in your heart space and you're doing nothing, you're listening to the desires and you're listening to the guidance that's showing you the direction that is going to be the most successful for you, aka your higher pathway, your higher self. So that's the first point. The second point is going to be to becoming a magnetic goddess is to listen to your triggers. And all of these things kind of come from the first point here. So doing nothing and slowing down. And also in this time where you're doing nothing and slowing your life right down, listening to your triggers in the moment. So as well as listening to your feelings, listening to the things that trigger you. So if you do want to go on social media and you have the willpower to actually say to yourself, I'm not going to get stuck in the scroll. I'm going to actually listen to what triggers me. And you start looking at your friend's profile or your friend's story or even Facebook, right? And everyone always posts their life events on there and stuff. So where do you get triggered? Where do people remind you where you're lacking in yourself? And this can be something that actually social media is probably a really good way to actually listen to your triggers. And I've tried this in the past as well, and it's revealed some areas that even I wasn't aware of. And when you listen to the things that trigger you, obviously it shows you the areas that you feel like you should improve. And that is either going to be untrue or true. So say, for instance, you see someone getting married. Let's say someone getting married, right? And you start to think, oh my gosh, like you scroll past it because you're like, oh, this, whatever, you roll your eyes or something. That's you getting triggered in the moment, and your brain is trying to almost pretend it didn't see it, so it kind of brushes it off and pretends you didn't see it, and you don't want to pay attention to it. But catch yourself in the moment. That's you getting triggered. And maybe when you start listening to yourself, you realize that you have this rush inside of you. Oh, I need to get married, or I don't have money to get married. And you realize this is where you're lacking. And then you realize you've got some limiting money beliefs. You've got some limiting beliefs about your love life, maybe, or you've got some limiting beliefs about your value because your partner hasn't proposed to you, or you've got to get married by the time you're 30 or else you'll feel like a failure. Or of these things, you can then write down in a notebook, journal on them, script on them, create some affirmations based off them, or do some EFT tapping or guided meditations to help clear those limiting beliefs. And that's how you're going to be able to do the proper inner work, by listening to those triggers. Then we have the third one, which is going to be raising your vibration daily. So when you're doing nothing and slowing down, using that time then to do things that really light you up. Again, scrolling on social media doesn't really light you up. If you don't like going to the local store doing your food shopping every week, then don't do it. If it doesn't light you up, order it online. Or, I don't know, get someone to do it for you. But I personally order my shopping in because I feel like it takes longer when you actually go to the store. As much as it's great to see things, you're often more likely to spend more than you even want to spend anyways, or buy more junk rather, if you don't have the self-control. And then you feel guilty for like wasting your time. And when you start to realize those areas of your life that you actually don't want to spend time on, then you don't have to spend time in those areas. You can instead pull that out. So pull this time that I was spending shopping into me listening to a course or a program, or joining someone's membership or something like that, or listening to a long YouTube video that's going to help me slow down and relax, something that raises my vibration, something where I'm pouring into myself, because this is what you want to be focusing on. Usually you'll realize that the things that raise your vibration are the things that help you pour into yourself. Is when you're giving yourself the attention, when you're giving yourself more knowledge, more wisdom, or watching things that heighten you. Even if it is a comedy movie, although they can be distracting, but if you realize the reason why you want to watch a comedy movie and you realize it's not actually for a distraction, it's just because I want to watch a comedy movie and I want to have fun and relax, and I've done a lot today, I've been productive, I've done my meditating, and I actually just want to sit down and watch this new movie that's come out, then fine. Obviously, watching movies is fine. It's just when you're trying to distract yourself and hide from your shadows, then you watching TV all day and watching movies all day is your shadow speaking. So you've got to learn the difference between that as well. High vibrational activities might look like expressing gratitude through gratitude journaling, gratitude meditations or visualizations, exercise, going to the gym, go for a walk, go for a run, eating, consuming high vibrational foods and drinks, smoothies, foods that are from nature that contain the high vibration from the earth and that aren't made in a factory. Learning and pouring into yourself, as we spoke about. Reading a book, something that obviously doesn't have a screen, not particularly for the screen being bad for you, because that is still debated, but more so the fact that if it's a piece of technology, then you're not really slowing down because it has other apps on there, it has other things on there. So actually just taking a physical book, there's something very peaceful about taking a physical book and reading it. And this is going to be a high vibrational exercise, because especially again if it's a self-development book, then you're going to be pouring into yourself. Or if it's a non-self-development book and it's just a normal storybook, then obviously you're going to be entering into that meditative state as you are reading. Whereas when you're watching a video, you're not in the high vibrational heart space, or long short form videos even, they're going to keep you in that what's next, what's the answer, what's this, what's that. That's what social media does to you. So these are all going to be the high vibrational exercises. Fill your day with more of these. You will start to see the shift. I said in one of my other videos, actually, I don't know if it's even posted yet. Well, it's not posted yet, so I don't know if I'll be posting this one first. But I started expressing gratitude, just writing it on my iPad. I've got like a new iPad with the Apple Pencil, writing it in my notes multiple times a day after doing the sections of my day. Like I'll start after breakfast, then after lunch, or if I go out when I come back before bed, expressing gratitude for whatever I've just done or just looked at, the video I've just watched. And doing that has helped me remain in a high vibrational state throughout the entire day, because actually when you wake up in the morning, expressing gratitude in the morning is going to be great. But a lot of the times, especially if you're sort of in the beginning of practicing gratitude, you'll find that the world shifts you out of the gratitude state pretty fast. So you might be doing your gratitude, but then as soon as you go out of your house to go to the shops, you get back into the head space and out of the heart space. And so I purposely, very intentionally went and ran my errands, went to the post office, went to the shop, in my car, on my own, in silence, with no radio on, listening to my thoughts, listening to my feelings, and just taking in the new scenery. It's autumn now outside, there's leaves everywhere, and I really had this new appreciation for nature. Whereas when you're like the dopamine detox, they say, is when you're getting dopamine from all these other places, it's like cheap dopamine and it doesn't really give you true satisfaction. Whereas when you take yourself away from that and you start to give yourself the gratitude and fill yourself up with the dopamine that truly lasts longer, you start to notice nature a lot more and you start to appreciate things that were there the entire time. It's just your brain wasn't programmed to actually see it or appreciate it, because in compared to what you saw the rest of the day, this now looks really small and insignificant and not very cool compared to the other stuff you saw throughout the day. And so when I went for this to the shops, I was like, I'm going to get pumpkins. I'm actually going to decorate my house for autumn. I've been renting for years now and I've never really decorated the house fully since when I actually moved. Well, our landlord wanted to move back into one of our rented houses in lockdown, and we had decorated that entire house. I mean, we'd bought furniture that fits perfectly in the kitchen, a dining table that fits perfectly in the living room. And when this was taken away from us, I was gutted. And I fully, for the last 4 years, have not decorated a house that I've lived in, because again, they've all been rented and the furniture didn't fit in the other houses. I had to give it away and sell it and stuff. And so we've never actually had up a Christmas tree for the last 4 years. I know, depressing. But I was like, you know what? There is no reason. Like, I've been distracted. And I've realised now, like, looking at this nature, looking at the pumpkins and the decorations, I'm in a bought house now. This is my house. I get to decorate. This little paint thing here has been here for so long now, because I just have not even, like, a whole nother story about that. But I'm not painting right now anyways. But I've realised, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what fills me up. Decorating a house is what fills me up. And I've let the world tell me that I shouldn't be decorating a house. I shouldn't be pouring into myself and doing this, because I've let it be pulled away from me through this past experience. And so I started to buy the pumpkins. I was buying the Christmas decorations. I bought these little Christmas glasses for £1 with little gingerbread men on. And I really started to fall in love with just simplistic living, enjoyment in buying the little things. None of it was hard or expensive, or I say expensive, I know I'm trying not to say the word expensive, but I mean it was well worth it, shall I say. I wasn't throwing money at the wall is what I kind of mean. And it was so nice. And I took a picture of the little pumpkins inside my trolley with the autumn leaves in the background. If I even have that picture, I'll put it on the screen. And I was like, oh my God, like I never noticed the leaves on the floor. I never even realised it was autumn, because you know what, before this week even, I was focused on a different area of self-development, shall we just say, first of all. And when I've been focusing on this new area of self-development, which is gratitude, I realised that before I was so ungrateful for the seasons. I was so caught up on the fact that it's not summer anymore. It's October now, and in the UK it's getting cold. And for the first time I was getting in my car and thinking, like, summer, why are you leaving me? Like, I literally really want summer to stay. I'm looking at summer holidays, and I was just really unappreciative of even the winter, the autumnal season. And again, once I've been practicing gratitude, I was like, oh my God, you know what, autumn, I've never liked you, but you are so aesthetic and peaceful. And I don't even like Halloween, but I bought the pumpkins. And really just slowing down with life, as we said, doing these high vibrational exercises. And as I said in my other video, this is what I was going to say, is that I had 2 people smile at me, and then 1 person actually just give me a trolley randomly. I didn't actually think I needed a trolley or anything, but they literally brought the trolley to my car and was like, do you need a trolley? And these kind of little things you'd probably take for granted, or they just wouldn't happen in the first place because you weren't on the right frequency of these other people, so they wouldn't be drawn to you in the first place. So this woman that was doing me a favor, giving me the trolley, these 2 other women that smiled at me, wouldn't have been on my frequency. I wouldn't have interacted with them. They wouldn't have noticed me or my vibration, simply just because I wasn't on that vibration. But because I was on my purposeful gratitude, running my errands on my own, silently in the car, not letting the world distract me, the radio was turned down, and I was just practicing gratitude, I was on this frequency. Try it. Honestly, tell me what happens. I was on a gratitude run before as well, and expressing gratitude for money, and I found £5 on the floor, and then I was laughing to myself. This was a while back, and I was like, oh my God, universe, thank you so much for this, but you know I'm after the big money. Like, I'm manifesting big dollar right now. And then the next time I went on a walk, I found £10 on the floor. And then I was like, oh my God, this is you can't make this up. So go for a gratitude day, walk, run, trip, whatever you want. But actually practice gratitude and stay in gratitude. If you go inside a shop and you come back in your car, gratitude. You do something else, go to the post office, get back in your car, go back into the gratitude state, because you'll, again, like I said before, you'll find that you're in gratitude, and then you do something and then you drop out of it and you get distracted. And that's what I've always been struggling with. My mind's always got distracted so easily, and I've always been so distracted from the gratitude and the world and everything that's lovely in it, basically. So yeah, taking more time to slow down and do this will allow you to step more into your feminine. You can sit back and you'll be more magnetic for your desires, as well as magnetic for other people, more high vibrational people, situations. People will start doing things for you. This is the same if you're a guy as well. A lot of guys get stuck in like the masculine energy of trying and doing, and a lot of them will be always trying and doing for like their whole lives because that's how they're taught, but then they never actually take time to sit back and receive things and allow people to do things for them. And this blocks like an energetic barrier of other things coming in, like more money, more abundance, more love. This is the energetic barrier that they're putting up when they are not in their more feminine energy, because everyone has feminine and masculine energy, right? And this is the receiving energy that we need to be in to become a magnetic goddess or god, whoever you are, right? So the next one is going to be number 4, and that's going to be meditate. So again, going from the doing nothing, slowing down, meditating is going to bring you back into your heart space. It's going to allow you to relax and clear your mind. You will find meditation so much easier to do if you haven't been in your heart, in your head space before those moments, like you haven't just been on social media. But if you have been on social media or you have been outside maybe you're still at work, or maybe you run in a business that you want to calm down a little bit because it's a little bit stressful right now. Meditating, the second you have a moment to relax, instead, so imagine this, you come back in from work or you come back in from going out and you're in your headspace, you know that you can't seem to tap into gratitude because you're so much in your headspace. And instead of you turning on a TV program, banging in a microwave meal, ordering a takeaway, switching on TikTok, you sit down and you say, I'm going to meditate, I'm going to relax, and I'm going to get in my heart space. And then I'm going to allow that to tell me, once I'm in my body, I'm going to allow that to tell me what I want to do next. And I, again, started doing this in the last few months. And when I thought I wanted to go even on YouTube, because again, that's my social media that I go on. I don't go on the other ones, but YouTube, I was like, I just can't, like, I was itching to do those things that I do in my free time because I haven't had time to do them throughout the whole entire day. So I was itching to just sit down, get on my phone, reply to people, go on YouTube, watch some videos and relax. And I said to myself, you know what, before you do that, let's just relax. Let's just do a meditation. And for me, it was more about concentrating because, again, I struggle with concentrating, or I did do before. Limiting belief, I'm not going to say that I do anymore because I've changed that thought now. But I struggled with concentrating. But now I started to meditate to slow down my mind so that I didn't have to struggle to concentrate anymore and I could focus at the task at hand. But what I found meditation started to do for me more than anything is actually realize that I truly didn't want to go onto YouTube or start watching Netflix. That was my mind talking. That was my mind, my want to consume things that was actually speaking, and to keep me distracted again from doing the inner work, looking inside of me, looking at why I couldn't concentrate. Why was I trying to distract myself from looking inwards? I was allowing my mind to distract me before by watching YouTube and by doing the Netflix and all the other things. And then by meditating, by the end of the meditation, guys, no word of a lie, I actually started to go into a bit of a meditation. I did I say I did, but I do frequently now multiple meditations. So I'll start with like a 10-minute meditation and then I'll end up doing another 10-minute one and another 10-minute one because I have a playlist, right? And I just let it flow. And by the end of the meditations, I'm just so relaxed. I'm like, oh, I could go to bed right now and it's 6 o'clock and I'm thinking, yeah, you know what? I might just pick up a book, start reading, being I'm so relaxed. I feel like I could concentrate on a book. This is how bad it was. So when I was in school, this is where the feelings of not being able to concentrate really originated from for me, that I've realised recently, is because I never used to be able to read. I couldn't even read. Like, I literally couldn't focus for more than a sentence. I would read the sentence over and over. And if you resonate with this as someone with ADHD, I promise you there's a reason for us doing it. There's a reason for ADHD, which is what I've realised now, hence why I'm able to actually get my words out, not stutter, and read. Finally reading. Let me know if you have ADHD and you struggle to read down below. But I used to read like Macbeth and stuff for GCSE English, and I remember trying to read Of Mice and Men or something. If you're in the UK, you know what I'm going on about here, like the UK GCSE system for English. And I remember chucking the book across my room in year 11. I read the first page and I chucked it across the room out of frustration because I was like, I just can't concentrate. I cannot read to save my life. And even Aaron said recently, he's like, you're a different person. What is wrong with you? Not what is wrong with you, but he's like, who are you? Like, where has my Charlotte gone? Because she never used to read. She never used to meditate. I was so clumsy. I'd always be spilling things, dropping things, walking into things, tripping over things. And he's like, you're doing housework now. You're washing up. You're cooking. You're like taking things slow. You're going to the gym. You're like, oh my gosh. this version of you is amazing, basically. And I was like, honestly, I know, like, it's just literally all of the self-development I've been doing, the inner work, like everything. And he knows that. And I've been reading all the time. And honestly, actually, I think I forgot what I was actually to say. But yeah, reading is now something I do all of the time. And it's great. It's a very high vibrational exercise. And I can now actually concentrate on doing it. So yeah, my ADHD girlies out there, if you're more interested in like how ADHD affects your manifestation and keeps you distracted from your higher self, that is a video I can make one day. It would be quite specific, I know. So yeah. But yeah, so I was saying about meditation. Meditation is, yes, I remember now actually. So meditating actually made me realize that I wanted to read. The only thing that was telling me I didn't want to read was my head, to keep me distracted, to keep me in this like hyperactive, state, basically. So I didn't have to do the inner work and I was just constantly distracted. And then when I meditated, it all went away. So number 5 is going to be working on what comes up. So when you're doing exercises such as meditating, doing nothing, observing your thoughts, anything that allows you to observe your thoughts, this is when your limiting beliefs are going to come up. Things that you never thought were affecting you. So they're not the obvious ones. So working on the things that do come up, and these will come up when you're doing nothing, when you're meditating, and you need to be like jotting down those thoughts as they come up, jotting them down, or trying to remember them for later on and working on those things. So when they come up, actually doing the work to work on them and clear them. And if it's an emotional feeling that comes up, that is a low vibration, and the biggest thing that prevents someone from manifesting is a low vibration. So this feeling of incapability for me, again, was pulling down all of my manifestations, my entire life, because although I've been a happy person, as I always say, at the back of my mind, in my subconscious brain, I had this lack frequency, this less than frequency that was pulling down my frequency, and that is held in our body. And until you realize that these limiting beliefs that come up in your everyday life around money, around yourself, your life, your love life, these are things that are coming up all the time for a reason. These are coming up because these are things you need to work on. So when you go to the store and you think something is expensive, you're coming from a lack frequency within money, and that's showing you then where your money blocks are already. It's actually very simple when you realize what to look for. Doing these things to clear it might look like shadow journaling, so just journaling and pouring your heart out about this subject. I feel like this, it's come from here, I always do this, blah, blah, blah. And then you change the story around and you start saying other things to clear the belief. Actually, I realize it's not true. You could do EFT to initially, you bring up the emotions. I feel this, I feel that. And then you clear them through your meridian points in your body. Or, again, another great way to just clear the emotions from your body is just feeling them. A lot of the times we will start to feel discomfort, and our mind will try and brush the feeling off because it doesn't feel good, because it feels icky, and because your mind is trying to protect your ego. Because if we have a wounded ego, then we're going to have even more self-worth issues and low self-confidence, and our brain is trying to protect us. It doesn't want this to happen. And so we need to be clearing these. We need to be ignoring the brain and actually just feeling the emotions that the brain is trying so hard to protect us from feeling, and actually getting over the bump of feeling the negativeness until we get to a point of stability where we can release the emotions and all of the in-between. But obviously, if you want all of the techniques and you want me to help with those ones that come up, then the Passive Princess package is going to be the best way to actually do the inner work and everything. So those are the 5 ways that are going to help you become a magnetic goddess in the next 3 months, no matter who you are, what stage of life you're in. If you do these things right, this is going to take you on a whole entire self-development journey. Save the video for later on. If you haven't been concentrating on the video and you have been in your brain and you can't recollect any of the points that I've just told you, then here's your sign to slow down. I don't know why I felt like saying that. So there's someone in the comments, someone in the video that's watching this that needs to slow down and consume content when you are relaxed, so you can either absorb it and learn from it. Because if you're doing something and you're trying to listen to the video in the background, then you're just overstimulated, and not only are you not focusing at the task at hand, but you're also not actually absorbing the content. So slow down, do one thing at once, okay? As I said before, for those of you guys that do want to do the shadow work and the inner work, Passive Princess package is down below, where we work one-on-one and all these other things. So other than that, I hope you liked today's video. Hope you like the more slower aspect. Obviously, again, let me know down below if you have any questions, or if you want, if you've got a suggestion for something that you really want to see, such as the ADHD video, then let me know down below as well. And other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Have a lovely, lovely day. Goodbye.